A deaf millionaire sat alone at the corner table of the city's most luxurious restaurant, unaware that tonight, of all nights, his entire life was about to change. If you're listening now, don't forget to like this video and subscribe, because what you're about to hear is a story that reminds us that miracles often arrive from the most unexpected hearts, even the tiniest ones. He came every Thursday. Same table, same quiet meal, same politely forced smile. His name was Adrian Cole, brilliant, wealthy, respected, and profoundly deaf since childhood. People saw the tailored suits, the expensive watch, the driver waiting outside. But no one ever noticed the loneliness he carried like a shadow. Adrian used to dine with his parents, then with the woman he once loved. But life had a way of taking people from him, one by one, until silence filled not just his world, but his heart. To him, Thursday dinners were a ritual, a reminder that he could still carry on. But deep inside, he wished for someone, anyone, to sit across from him again. That night, a cleaning lady named Rosa hurried through the restaurant after finishing her shift. She wasn't supposed to bring her baby, but her sitter had canceled, and she desperately needed the job. Her little boy, Matteo, barely a year old, clung to her shoulder, wide-eyed and curious. She apologized repeatedly to the manager, who reluctantly allowed her to clean the back room, as long as the baby didn't make a fuss. But babies don't understand quiet rules. While Rosa scrubbed the counters, Matteo crawled off toward the dining area, drawn by the golden lights and clinking glasses. Before she noticed he was gone, he had toddled right up to Adrian's lonely table. Adrian didn't hear the soft pats of little feet, but he felt something tug at his pant leg. When he looked down, he saw the little boy gazing up at him with a gummy smile. The entire restaurant froze. A waiter rushed forward, whispering apologies. Rosa darted out, mortified, holding Matteo tightly and signing a frantic, "I'm sorry," even though she didn't actually know sign language, she just hoped gestures would bridge the gap. Adrian held up a hand. It was rare, so rare, for anyone to look at him without pity, fear, or overcompensation. But this child, this tiny stranger, had walked straight up to him with pure innocence. He signed slowly to Rosa, pointing to Matteo. "He's not bothering me." She understood only his gentle expression, but that was enough. She bowed, still apologizing, and carried the baby away, but Matteo had already changed something inside Adrian. For the first time in years, he felt warm. After they left, Adrian's food felt tasteless. His thoughts drifted to them, the exhausted mother, the curious baby. Something stirred, something he hadn't felt in too long. The next Thursday, Rosa wasn't there. She had been reassigned because the manager didn't want any more disruptions. But Adrian asked about her anyway. When he learned she worked the late shift now, quietly sweeping hallways upstairs, he left a note asking to see her, if she was comfortable. Rosa arrived hesitantly, Matteo asleep against her shoulder. She feared losing her job, feared judgment, feared the consequences of that tiny moment her baby wandered off. But Adrian motioned for her to sit. With slow, patient movements, he signed and wrote what he couldn't express fully with gestures. "Your son reminded me what kindness feels like. I didn't know I needed that." Rosa's eyes softened. She explained, in broken English, her struggles, working 2 jobs, dreaming of a better future for Matteo, feeling invisible in a city that rushed past her life every day. Invisible. Adrian knew that feeling far too well. He began coming earlier, just to talk with her, sometimes with a notepad, sometimes with signs she slowly learned. And soon, Rosa and Matteo became the first real companionship he'd had in years. But life wasn't done testing them. One night, Rosa didn't show up. Hours passed. Adrian finally overheard 2 servers gossiping. She'd been let go earlier that day. Budget cuts. Easier staff to replace, they said. His chest tightened with anger. He left immediately. He found Rosa in her cramped apartment, holding a crying Matteo, trying to pack what little they had before eviction. She was embarrassed to see him there, ashamed of her situation. Adrian didn't pity her. Instead, he felt something deeper, recognition. She wasn't weak. She wasn't failing. She was fighting, alone, the same way he had been. He signed firmly, "Let me help." Rosa shook her head. "I don't need money," she said softly. "I need a chance." And that was exactly what he gave her. He hired her directly, not as a cleaner, but as a community liaison for a foundation he secretly funded. He helped her find a safe place for Matteo. He taught her sign language, and she taught him what unconditional trust looked like. As weeks turned into months, their bond grew, Rosa's quiet resilience bringing color back to Adrian's silent world. Matteo adored him, reaching for him every time they met, sometimes falling asleep in his arms. Adrian discovered a joy he never expected, the joy of being needed. And Rosa discovered something too, that the man everyone called untouchable was, in truth, someone who simply wanted to belong. The night Rosa asked him why he'd helped her, he only smiled and sighed. Your son didn't see a lonely man. He saw a friend. I want to become someone worthy of that. The story could end here, with a job saved, a family supported, a heart healed. But something more profound happened. Adrian found purpose, new projects, new relationships, new courage. And one Thursday night, when he sat at his usual table, he wasn't alone. Rosa sat beside him. Matteo sat between them, tapping Adrian's hand to get his attention, babbling nonsense that Adrian couldn't hear, but deeply felt. A deaf millionaire once dined alone. Until a cleaning lady's baby did the unthinkable. He reminded a lonely man that love doesn't always arrive in grand gestures. Sometimes, it crawls across a marble floor with tiny hands and a fearless heart. So if this story touched you even a little, don't forget to like and subscribe. Because somewhere out there, someone needs to hear this message today. No matter how silent your world feels, someone is waiting to bring your life back to sound.